Okay, welcome everybody to the Muddy Acres Homestead. My name is Jeff, and I'm just going to do a quick rundown of the Fur Harvesters auction results. Kind of give you some of my opinions. I've had a few people asking me what I thought, so um, yeah, here we go. I'm going to start with the beaver. There was 52,062 offered and 61% sold. Eastern beaver averaged 24.36, Western 19.49, with an overall average of $23.45. So we do know that that is down from past couple of years. I think that Yellowstone fad is gone, and now we're selling 61% of our beaver. So that it's not good news for us. Spring trapping is here, and I'm sure there's people that are going to just say heck with it. But get out there and get them, guys. They need to be gone. And the castor market's even down. Yeah, that's not good news. Otter, 4,132 were offered, 93% sold. That's not too bad. When I was listening to the auction, a lot of the unsolds were the damaged goods, and the overall average $26.36. Now, with 93% sold, it's not good, but in that 93% that sold, there are a lot of damaged, a lot of small goods, a lot of early blue goods. So, that really brings down that number. And let's go on to muskrat. 152,714 were offered, and they put it as mainly unsold. And I'll tell you what, they flew through them 152,000 muskrats in about 5 minutes. It was just they were putting value on it, and there was no bidders. What they did sell, the average was $2.30. That's a pretty depressing market. Going to move on to Fisher. 6,056 were offered, 92% sold. The average was $55.36. You know, although it's low, 92% sold is respectable, and 55.36 is, that's not too bad. And the female to male was pretty close. It didn't really matter if it was a female or a male. The female's got a little softer fur, so kind of brings that market up. But I mean, it was pretty close between the two. The sable, the marten, 28,738 were offered and 99% sold with an average of $70.35. Guys and gals, I'm from Iowa. We don't have sable or marten over there, so I'm not by any means an expert or even a novice at sable marten. So you guys tell me what you think. But $70, 99% sold, that's doable. Here was a highlight. Well, there's three highlights on this sale to me. Red fox, 4,948 offered, which I feel is extremely low. 100% sold. Eastern, 2008. Northern, 2369. Western, 1385. Central, 1052. So the Eastern red fox from, out here in New York, Pennsylvania, $20. Hey, and you're going to sell 100%. That's not, don't get me wrong, guys. I know the market's low, but $20 is, it's doable. I'd rather skin and put up a fox than skin and put up a coyote. I think everybody can agree with me on that. And what are you going to get for a coyote? $10, $12? Definitely do the red fox over a coyote, and a $20 bill. I'll take it all day long. Gray fox, 3,009 were offered. 100% clearance. $20.11 average. Although I was happy to see 100% clearance, I do think that number is a little low. Gray Fox is beautiful, guys. When I get to the end of the report, I'm going to tell you my thoughts about some of these. We're going to go on to raccoon. 42,088, which is a low number for raccoon, and only 29% sold. That's pathetic. Canadian, $7.21. Western heavy, $6.92. Eastern, $3.54. Now, I'm a coon trapper from, all my years, and 29% sold. That leaves 71% sitting in a warehouse with no home. So, your Eastern raccoon, $3.54, and you ship them, and you only sold 29 out of 100, and the rest are going to sit. And over the years, they sit, they become stale, and then they get no valued. So, yeah, don't know what to tell you there, but we got to get rid of the raccoons. We got to get rid of them. We got to save some turkeys and pheasants, quail, that kind of stuff. So, keep trapping them. Try to find a market. Wild mink was another highlight. 6,748 mink, which I do believe is very low. 100% sold. The northern mink averaged $16.58. The central mink, $12.80. Fairly easy to trap. Extremely easy to skin and put up. If you can average somewhere in that $14, $15 range, that average is male and female. And the females usually bring $6, $7. So the males were up around 18 to 20 bucks. $19 bought a lot of them. So it's not too shabby. I can go out and pick some of them up and, have fun. Not too hard to work as far as skinning and putting them up and, make $15 bill. Let's go to Bobcat. 2,662 offered. Kind of thought that was a little low myself. 81% clearance, not too bad. The Canadian Bobcat averaged $233.27. The Western Bobcat averaged $784.17, and the Central was $86.41. There again, I'm not a big Bobcat guy, but 81% clearance is kind of tipping on the low side. They did hold a lot back for what they thought they were valued at. I'll get into that at the end of this report. I did write down the links. 2,127 offered, 96% clearance. That's pretty good clearance. But I thought the numbers were a little low. I think links are beautiful. First section averaged $141.53, and the overall average is $132.79. There again, not a lynx guy, but to me that sounds low. That's a beautiful fur. Coyote, pretty depressing market, like we all knew. 14,508 offered, 58% clearance. Western coyotes averaged $21.30. Eastern coyotes $15.86. And then Eastern, they have it broke down between Eastern and Eastern U.S. Eastern U.S. was $8.77. And I could tell you that Eastern U.S. is like North Carolina, South Carolina, parts of Virginia, Connecticut, and I believe Maryland. The dogs are just small and not furred out over there as much, but 58% clearance, horrible. And Eastern coyotes, $15.86 average, and yet you'll have, over, around 50% of them still sitting there. So what are they worth? Nothing? Yeah, who knows? Badger, 265 offered, very low, 51% clearance. They held a pretty high value on them. And then the low flat grades, they couldn't even get $1 for them. $33.61 average. Skunk was a highlight. 1,409 skunk offered, 100% clearance. The overall average is $29.52. Now, guys, I know you don't like the smell of skunk, but putting them up for 30 bucks, shoot, I do it. I did it for $3, $2. So Absolutely, I'm going to do it for 30 bucks. Weasel. This is a pretty good one too, actually. 8,128 offered, 100% clearance, $7.54 average. I can remember even when the fur market was good, they only averaged $3-4. So that's really good. Squirrel, 11,474 offered, 60% clearance, $1.27. Yeah, it's about normal. Possum was a bummer. 2,354 offered, 12% clearance, $1.43 average. They did have a 650 top, so you know there was a lot of them sold for a quarter 50 cents. I like possum fur. I think it's undervalued, but that's just me. Okay, I didn't write down a lot of the other stuff like silver fox, Arctic fox. I didn't write down any of the ranch fox that they had because, yeah, I don't even want to talk about ranch fur. I'm a wild fur guy, and that's where my focus is going to be. But my opinion of the auction overall is pretty neutral. I mean, things sold. You know, we had quite a few 100% clearances, decent money. Happy about that. We got to find a market for them coyotes and beavers again, guys, and the muskrats. Muskrat used to be the bread and butter, and now now they're selling peanuts. So we got to get a market for those. And I think our markets need to stay over here in the United States. Guys, get out there and market your fur. Don't feel you have to dump it. Not saying nothing bad about fur harvesters. I love fur harvesters. I used to love NAPA. It's a great outlet, but you got to do your homework. You got to know what you're selling. If that fur isn't worth, $5, it's not worth sending to an auction because you got commission. There's a $15 shipping fee on that, and the coyote's got a tumbling fee, $1, $1.50. Don't remember what it is right now, but you could owe them money. You send up a dirty dog, dirty coyote, charge you $1.50 to tumble it. They charge you commission, take out the shipping. Yeah, you owe them money. Take that fur, get it tanned, market it that way. Do something with it yourself. Make something out of it. Have somebody make something for you. Let's face it, you go to a craft or a hobby show, somebody wants to just hang one on a wall. Honestly, they don't know a good one from a bad one unless it's totally obvious, unless that's got a big bald spot or, it's rubbed out or it's real short necked or something like that. A lot of people hanging in a cabin of fur is a fur. And if you can tan it, if you can tan a coon hide for $14, sell it for $35. Right there, you just made more than the $3 you're going to make at an auction. So I guess that was kind of my point there, but I want to thank you all guys for watching my videos through the auction. I am going to do another video, probably be a couple weeks, but I want to break down the auction terminology, section, color, clarity, stuff like that for you guys. I think it's important that you learn about your fur so you know how to market it, because honestly, a lot of this fur that's getting sent up there should not be sent up there. Them guys from overseas want almost top of the line fur or somewhere near it. And I'll explain that here in another video. I'm going to do another video on a couple fox hides I got here just to show, and I'll probably do that in the next couple days. But getting close to 15 minutes on this video. I like to keep them under 15 minutes, and I just want to thank you guys. This video here will probably put me over 100,000 views, and I appreciate everybody so much for doing that for me. And if it's your first time watching, please subscribe. And I'm not asking you to subscribe because I want to get monetized, because I know I'm not going to get monetized. And that's going to be another video I'm going to do. But I'm all about education. I'm all about marketing fur. We need to find things to do with this fur here in the United States. And, we got to quit relying on foreign countries to buy our products. So I'm done rambling. Till the next one. Check y'all out later. Have a great day.